Welcome to Kathryn Raaker's World. Innovation, culture, adventure, fashion and health, artists, destinations, traditions. This is Kathryn Raaker's World.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of Kathryn Raaker's World, our syndicated TV show. And Let's Just Talk, our syndicated radio show. We want to welcome Dr. Vic Baker, President and CEO of EquitiFy, which specializes in a range of services designated to transform an organization, and its experts are masters in organizational strategy, executive leadership, training, coaching, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and performance optimization. EquitiFy believes in the power of solutions that address every aspect of an organization's needs. I want to welcome to our show, Dr. Vic Baker.
Thank you, Kathryn, for that wonderful introduction. Yes, truth be told, our organization is really designed and put in place to really help those organizations go to the next level. And a lot of that starts with leadership. And it starts with the individual. And so we concentrate on ensuring that those individuals, we maximize their leadership capabilities, and we focus on strategy. And we also want to ensure that everyone understands that at the very end of the day, we are creating a performance measure that's going to increase your performance.
And that's what's so important, I think. We all need training.
Yes.
Because our world changes so fast every single day that if we, and I'm all constantly learning, but I like to, I think it's, so tell me, Doctor, can you share a bit about your journey and what inspired you to begin EquitiFy?
So, I would say, when we talk about tracing my origins and my journey toward cultural sensitivity and diversity education and leadership training, it's really a kind of a clear path, but it's not merely chosen. It was really inherited. I come from a lineage marked by a bunch of pioneers that really navigated societal changes and with a lot of resilience. My grandfather, born 1901 in Mississippi, migrated through to Mobile, Alabama. My mother was born there. My father was born in Mobile, Alabama, and he was a doctor in the 20s, graduated from Tuskegee University in 1923. And so was a doctor, ran the Negro School at the time in Mobile, Alabama, and then ran the training center. And so his name still sits on buildings in Mobile, Alabama as we speak. My mother, her mother was a teacher. We are descendants of the last slave ship that actually hit the United States in the 1800s, called the Clotilda, which is in Plateau, Alabama. And so when we talk about, and her mother was a teacher. So I have teachers on both sides of my family. My father's the oldest of 10 children. And then here we come as third generation. And so being a doctor was not unfamiliar. It was instilled in us, and this is what we wanted to do. Now, I will say this, Kathryn, I resisted the idea of being a teacher my whole life. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And truth be told, and part of that resistance was, I wanted to be successful, and success at that time meant making money. So I actually went to school to be an engineer because engineers get paid, right? And I was like, I want a job at the end of my college career that's going to put money in my pocket. So I was an engineer for 25 years, nearly 30 years. I retired about 3 years ago, but I worked the ranks of aptitude in the energy industry here in the state of California. I worked for 3 of the 4 major utilities here, and I retired as an executive from the utility right here in Northern California. But throughout that entire period, guess what was happening to me, Kathryn? Guess what was happening to me? You start getting those nuggets, right? Every time I excel, I knew that there was a purpose because I did a lot of teaching. I did a lot of coaching. I didn't call it that at the time, but I'm raising people underneath me, and I see the value of people and how manifesting changes in those people, optimizing them and investing in those people really did well to improve the bottom line. And in corporate America, when we look at the bottom line and who's responsible for, you tend to rise. And that's what happened with me. So my numbers were always great because I invested in people. And so I went back to school early on and got my MBA, but I went back to school to really understand and learn what it meant to be, what leadership meant. And so I enrolled in the University of San Francisco, a renowned school when it comes to organization and leadership, and got my doctorate in education and organization and leadership, and been on this journey ever since. And it's been magnificent journey. So both corporate America and academia really galvanized my commitment to fostering a lot of environments when it comes to cultural differences and celebrating assets.
Right. Can you tell us about your DEI program?
Oh, one of the most robust divisions in EquitiFy is our DEI program. And so much so, and we're only as good as the people that really do the DEI work.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 22 employees at EquitiFy.
Mm-hmm.
We started off with 6, and all 6 of us are doctors in organization and leadership.
Wow.
All 6 of us are former executives in corporations. And
Wow.
5 out of the 6 of us, 4 out of the 6 of us are women, and 5 out of the 6 of us are African American. Right. So when we talk about our DEI, it's a journey that starts with many of us having to take ownership of DEI commitments from the corporations we worked in, just because we're likely the highest executive person of color in those organizations.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the organic feel of what DEI meant. And we brought all of our experience. We brought our academic experience together to really launch our DEI initiative. And we have right now, we're probably the largest DEI service provider in professional development in the nation.
That's wonderful.
We train over 10,000 people every year in
Wow.
DEI initiatives. And that is from stage 1 of a company to somebody who's really have an automatic process when it comes to DEI. One of our largest contracts is with the state of California. And so we do implicit bias training for the state of California as we speak. So I have teams in San Diego, LA, the Bay Area. As right now is 1:34 on the Pacific time, and we're teaching classes at this moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does your executive leadership training differ? How does your executive leadership training differ from competitors, and why?
So one of the most pivotal moments that we look at when it comes to training and leadership is you can come from an organic experience, but you can also have an academic. And what we have and what I think differs is because we merged the two together. Again, we start off with people who are former executives, the highest level that they can reach in their corporations, have success in corporations. We understand what numbers and success means when it comes to the bottom line and performance optimization. So we have that, but we also have this academic piece, and we understand what research means. And we can merge the academic and the research with organic, real life situations. So we're bringing to the table things that actually work.
Wow. Can you give me
Right?
an example of that?
Oh, I can give you all types of examples. When we talk through let's just take a stage one, diversity, equity, and inclusion organizations who's really entering diversity, equity, and inclusion. They hired somebody to be their executive director of diversity at their company. That person who walks into the door, what do they know about being an executive director of diversity, equity, and inclusion? They didn't go to school for it because there's no degree for it. All right. What does it mean for the company to have an initiative and a strategy around it? And what is actually going to work? Are we going to throw out a program that's going to celebrate every ethnicity's holidays? Or we're going to have a parade for every ethnicity? Are we going to have employee resource group for, the different isms that exist in a company? What does that really mean? And so in a perfect example of to illustrate this type of work that we would do coming in is we will start with the president and CEO and talk about its commitment to diversity. What does it mean? And how can we draw KPI measures of success around diversity? First and foremost, we can't start an initiative without understanding where we're going to go. In a lot of cases, having a name, a person in those particular positions is not enough to get you to where you want to be because you haven't identified where it is you want to be.
What are some of the most common challenges your clients face, and how does EquitiFy assist them in it?
Common challenges. Common challenges are what are normal to all of us, and that biggest common challenge is the desire and want to change. That's a big one. There's a resistance to cultural sensitivity in a lot of cases. And so there is a realm of pushback with people's unwillingness to change. I think that's the huge challenge. But guess what? We're professionals in change management. We understand what it means to draw out change and embrace a culture and understand the movement of change lies in the people and them developing the plan themselves. So we don't.
It includes disabilities, doesn't it? It includes people.
Absolutely, and that's a big one. That's huge, because we have disability. I stay away from the word disability and just start ability differences. We have ability differences that exist in the workplace. And acknowledging those ability differences, acknowledging and understanding them, and the willingness to try to work with people to help them be to where they need to be in order to do the job, they can do the job. So am I showing up resisting people with different abilities, or am I recognizing what those are and maximizing them, making it a way for them? So it goes from a social construct to a more person-centered approach.
The other thing is that I think that we ought to look at autism and all the other things out there, Parkinson's, all of it, and look and understand that God gives them additional challenges, additional wonderful gifts.
Yes.
And we've had some beautiful writers that were just disabled in that respect, and are just precious.
Yes.
So, and I think when you teach them or you work with them, you see that. I get very emotional on these things.
What you should be, and that's good. That goes to your sensitivity and your heart that you have for just everyone. And it exudes your humanistic feelings about it. Just comes out of your soul, and that's just who you are. And that's a great place to be.
That is. And how do you best measure and affect change in an organization?
So, truth be told, the best measure is going to be determined based on that company. There's not a one size fits all measure. Let me just put it out there. It doesn't exist. You have to develop that measurement based on the people, the environment. Every single one should be customized, whatever that measure may be. But I tell people all the time, if you're looking for a cookie cutter approach, that's not what EquitiFy does. We don't do cookie cutter approaches. What we want to do is come in and do some assessment. Where are you? Who are the people? Let's understand, and let's together create that assessment. And it could be different than anyone else's assessment that exists. But not assessment, but that KPI and that measure of success can be different than what everyone else has done. But it works for your company, and that's what you want to use.
Now, how do you institute diversity councils, and where are they today across the world or across the United States?
So the idea of diversity councils, I would say it's a popular idea. It is a something that's been around since the inception of diversity out of the 1960 Civil Rights Act, 1970 Title VII, 1967 Title VII. It's been around for a while. People of like minds and like selves will come together as an organization and just be that organization, right? So that's where those resource groups come from, the inception. The efficacy of those resource groups depends on the mission, the purpose. And every organization has a different mission or purpose around it. And so you can't really measure the efficacy unless you understand what their mission and vision is. Is their mission to hire more? Is their mission mobility throughout an organization? So increasing mobility and seeing people at leadership levels. Is their mission, it depends on what it is. So when we talk about I think it's always going to be part of the plan and strategy of any diverse strategic plan. I would suggest, what I would suggest. I would suggest that so I've seen corporations just feel as though they have been successful if they've created one. I would say that is at the very onset stage of a successful program, and that is the basic model of a program when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. That it should include an employee resource groups. I do believe that when we look at stage 5, very high-level organizations, those resource groups are actually putting in work. They're actually utilized. They actually have a seat at the table in executive decisions.
Now, my last question, which isn't
Yes. Okay.
there needs to be more diversity for older people that want to stay working. And doesn't matter what color or what race you are, because somebody looks at you and doesn't think, okay, that you can do the job. We need maturity in our workforce.
So,
somebody that's actually talented like crazy, you need to keep them in a sense, or give them something different, because they've been around a while. They may be everything that you want, but because of and they can't discriminate against age any longer. Can they?
No, not at all. No, we don't not an organization that exists will ever raise their hand and suggest that they're discriminating on age. And we don't want to do that. When we want to, my father-in-law used to say, we want to age and buy out gracefully. And what does gracefully look like at an organization? I did talk to you earlier about change. Organizations, for them to continue to be where they are, they need to adapt and change. There are plenty, if not so many, opportunities for our aging community in that workplace to remain. It's just a matter, and no different than we work with people with different abilities. We have to change the social construct and not talk about what they cannot do, and talk about what they can do.
That's right.
And that's how the mindset should be changed. What can we do to make it work? Not be upset that they still exist and just worry about. No, these are absolutely contributors to this organization in so many ways. That legacy, that history, bringing people with a lot of experience in. Are you kidding me? I will tell you one great way of doing it, Kathryn. One great way is that as we age, we become better coaches. We become more patient. And it's not coaching on the subject matter, it's coaching people in general. So I'm a master certified coach. And somebody like you, Kathryn, can talk to me about what change looks like, because me, I have a limited experience of what change. You have gone through, you've shared with me your, and I won't share here, but you share with me your age, but you've gone through the onset of technology that's immense.
I know. And
And
I've accepted it. I've accepted it.
right?
Now I teach Zoom
Yeah.
to people because, you came on because you teach all the time, right?
Uh-huh.
And you know it. But I have a lot of people that have never, ever used Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
especially even sometimes from overseas.
Mm-hmm.
I give them a lesson and they go, oh, wow, this is not hard. Doesn't matter
Right.
how old they are.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I learned that I love is that there's a little thing on Zoom that you can change, getting rid of all your wrinkles if you want to.
Wow.
Did you know
Show
that?
me that one. I'm getting my widow speaks. They're
Yeah,
coming in slowly.
but
Yeah.
no, I don't mean it that way. I mean that it gives you a better appearance, right?
Yes.
But
Mm-hmm.
learning lighting, learning all the different things, especially if you're going to
Mm-hmm.
use it all the time for your
Right.
advantage,
Yes.
it's a great thing. So I still love doing that. If I learn
Yeah.
something, I want to tell people about it, right?
Absolutely. And can I add to that story? So
Go for
you're talking about educating people on technology that may be similar age bracket, age group.
it.
I would suggest the experience that our agent community have in the workplaces, because you have gone through so many societal changes in your life. I can ask you the question, how many times do you think that's the end of our jobs, that's the end of our work, and we don't know how we're going to pay the bills because I'm going to be without a job? What that does to you internally is scary, right? And so your experience can help younger people, and migrate through that as they go through all these changes as well. So having somebody in my life saying, don't worry about it, you're going to be okay, and there's going to be opportunity, that matters, because right, that kind of coaching
Yeah.
helps with the emotional. So that's the emotional intelligence we need to dive into. And I would say that is a great, huge place for organizations just to have a coaching group within their organization to talk about coaching through these emotional transitions that these young people are going to be going through because they're so scared and they're not raised the same. But having that, it's those types of things that I'm suggesting right off the bat can help people with those anxieties.
That's right. And there's a lot of anxiety out there. We need to be
Mhm.
able to, I talk to people every single day and
Uh-huh.
hold their hands because
Yeah.
I know that they're going through such a struggle in some way, shape, or form. So let me know what your website is. That's number one.
Okay. Website is EquitiFy.us.
.us. Okay.
Yes. So
That's it.
Equitify us.
Okay. Equitify. I got it now. Equitify.us. I can't
Mhm.
thank you enough for joining me today. It
Oh, my goodness.
has been
It's
so
my pleasure.
educational, so much
Mhm.
fun, and finding
Yeah.
out that you like the same things I do. That's even
How
better.
about that? How about that? Yes. From
So
healthy
anyhow,
cooking to
yes,
coaching. I love it.
right, right.
Yes.
So let me say that we'd love to have you back to talk about the state of diversity training and adoption of it.
Yes. Yes. I would love to talk to you about it. And your viewers will, it's a hot topic these days. It's become political. And I would love to talk through some of those political and optimize some of the work that we're actually doing and what it can actually do for our organization.
Right.
And really discuss where it is today versus where it will be tomorrow.
That's right.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kathryn, for your time. This has been a blessing. You are a blessing.
Thank you. You are a blessing too. And I'll
Yeah,
say some prayers for you and your organization. Just send me your logo and whatever in your bio, and I'll put it up as a nonprofit.
absolutely. Prayers up to you.
Thank
Yes.
you. And don't forget to go to our website at KathrynRaakersWorld.com,
Mhm.
our Let'sJustTalk.com, and we have
Okay.
a free app on Apple phones And
Oh,
all you
okay.
have to do to hear the radio shows and all of them is go to Kathryn Raaker and Let's
Mm-hmm.
Just Talk. It's a free app.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
putting it in right now. Let's just talk.
Right. And then don't forget to go to the Chef You and I. It is
Oh my gosh.
healthy cooking show.
I love it. I love it. I
Thank
love
you
it.
so much.
No, thank you. Thank you for your time today. Have a wonderful and blessed rest of your day.
Thank you so much. And you